to attention for a second. We've got a very important TED Talk coming up from Joshua Carr. So I'm Joshua Carr. I'm from Northern Ireland, as you probably might be able to tell as the talk goes on, just because I mention it later on, that's all. I went to Queen's University in Belfast, and I graduated in 2011. After I graduated from university, I went traveling for a year. Then after that, I worked as an auditor in New York City, and shout out to NYC. And then I joined the Foundation for the Future program just in the most recent intake in March. So it's really good to be with all you guys today. I realize it's like way past 5 and we should all be in the bar, so just want to make this like really quick. When I was asked to do a TED or a Theodore talk, as I like to call them, the first thing that I did was to Google what a TED talk actually was, because I'm a pretty smart guy. And through my research, which is just watching a lot of videos, I found that the people who give TED Talks are usually either experts in their field or are very inspirational individuals. After a good bit of soul searching and a few conversations with my mother, I realized that I was neither of those things. So what I'm going to do for you guys today is just talk about a couple of the actual inspirational people that I've met on my time on this earth. So today I'm going to talk to you about engaging the world on our doorstep. I just want to thank Leo Johnson for giving the introduction to my talk. We didn't actually plan that, so she's all ahead. But yeah, what this is all about is basically about cities, but more specifically about how cities impact us as individuals and how cities in the future are going to impact our communities and the communities around us. So my interest in urbanization never really started, but if it did start somewhere, it started in 2012 when I was traveling around the world with a friend of mine. We were traveling through India at the time, and we were using a website called Couchsurfing. Is anybody here familiar with Couchsurfing? Hands up if you know what Couchsurfing is. Okay, we have a couple people who don't. So Couchsurfing is a hospitality exchange website, which basically provides, it matches people who are traveling, need a place to crash, with locals who are willing to host them. And I promise you that is the most eloquent summary of Couchsurfing that you will ever hear. Yes, we were doing that. We were staying with a young man called Supratim in Mumbai in India. And so whenever we were hanging out with Supratim, I asked him why did he let strangers come and sleep on his sofa. And he responded with quite a poignant remark. He said, "It's very unlikely that I will ever have enough money to travel around the world like you guys. But by the very fact that I live in Mumbai City, the world comes to me. All I need to do is engage with it." So myself and my friend, we traveled on from there. We traveled and we saw many cities over, I guess, all the way from the east, all the way through to the west. And the one thing that I realized is that cities are actually changing our lifestyles as people. And as the world becomes a more city-centric place, it's changing the way that we interact with our friends, it's changing our consumption habits, it's changing how we spend our time and our money, and most importantly, it's really impacting our communities. So to support some of the facts that Leo threw at you guys earlier in the day, the urban population is indeed increasing. Cities are growing massively and are set to do so over the next 35 years. Currently, the urban population is about 3.4 billion people, and this is going to increase to about 6.4 billion people by 2050. So my point here is what Supratim really understood and what he observed with his Couchsurfing experience is that cities are more and more becoming the hubs for globalization. And as people are migrating from around the world to megacities, they are providing, I guess, like a window to the world, that we have the whole world on our doorstep and it's coming to us. The question is, how can we engage with that? So Leo talked a lot about the challenges and the opportunities that this migration brings to us as a society. But I want to think a bit more about the opportunities that brings for us as individuals in our community. And the question that I'm asking is, how can we engage with the world on our doorstep? Now, academics, over a number of years of research, have come up with two ways that we can engage with the world on our doorstep. And when I say academics, I mean me. When I say years of research, I mean yesterday when I was thinking about this. The first way is called the social consumption approach. This is what you'll find similar behaviors in Shoreditch with a lot of hipsters, a lot of people called culture vultures. These people like to experience and engage with the diversity around us in the city by consumption. They take a trip to Chinatown. I don't know if there's a Chinatown in London, but I hope there is. Or they, for example, go to a cultural festival, or I guess my best idea would just be to go to an Irish pub. It's a pretty extreme cultural experience, so you should do that sometime. But then the second approach is what's called the social action approach, and this is the approach that I want to appeal to us all today to become more involved with. The social action approach is really simple. It's basically just choosing to engage with your community by seeing the social issues that are facing those around us and being able to help where we can. So I'm going to tell you a couple of stories about some people who I've met during my time at the University of Life, and they are really inspirational people in making an impact on the cities in which they live. I don't know why I'm holding this. I have no slides coming up. Although let's try to be a big distraction. So, yeah, let's start with Dan. Dan is a friend of mine from New York. Dan is a native New Yorker, and he lives in an area in Brooklyn that is facing quite a lot of social issues at the moment. I think that's the most PC way that I can say it. Dan decided one day that he wanted to engage with his local neighborhood. So he used a social network platform called Nextdoor. Has anybody here ever heard of Nextdoor? We've got one guy over here. Thank you. Very socially conscious, sir. Nextdoor is a private social network that works by verifying your address and then connecting you with your neighborhood based on locality. So basically it connects you with your neighbors on a private social network. So he set one of these up for his neighborhood in New York, and he not only made a lot of new friends, but he actually realized that there was a couple of non-English speaking families that lived in the neighborhood that had just moved there from Mexico. So Dan decided that he would teach these guys how to speak a bit of English, I guess. So he set up a couple classes, and I went along to a couple of them just to brush up on my English, really. And yeah, we kind of helped out, and it really helped these families to get established in their community, but also to start a better life in New York. And along the way, he got to try some really great home-cooked Mexican food and enjoyed probably a bit too much tequila from the stories that he told me. So that's Dan. Secondly, I want to talk to you about a group of university students that I met in Bangkok. Bangkok is the capital of a country called Thailand, just for those of you who aren't aware of that. I stayed with a group of these university students for about 2 or 3 months whenever I was traveling. And one day they were educated on the plight of many people in their cities who were actually victims of modern day slavery. And in response to what they had been taught on this issue, they decided that they would take a couple of evenings every week and visit the local red light districts in Bangkok and just try to engage with a couple of people who were working in the sex industry there. And it was a really touching and moving thing to see what they were doing. It was quite dangerous and had a pretty heavy emotional toll on all of them that were involved. But what they were doing was providing support to the people that they met who they suspected might be victims of human trafficking, and tried to provide them with further education about the possible ways out of their situation. And then finally, I want to talk to you all about Pete. Pete is an absolute lad. He is from Belfast, same as me. We went to university together, and we both experienced the troubles in Northern Ireland growing up. And I'm not trying to pull a sympathy card here, but it just gives a bit of context to what Pete is trying to do in Belfast. We also saw the lasting effects that over 30 years of violence and segregation has had on our communities. And Pete, along with this, he saw the history of innovation that we also have in Northern Ireland. So with high youth unemployment in Belfast, and also with still residing segregation in our education system, Pete decided that he was going to set up an innovation platform to bring together innovators from both sides of the community in order to link them with investors and entrepreneurs in order to boost economic growth and innovation and community integration in Belfast. Pete's initiative is called TechWatch, and it's currently being used by a number of different innovators in Belfast, both sides of the community, building friendships and developing their ideas. So I just wanted to tell you those three stories of those people who I find really inspiring in the way of that they have engaged with the communities in their cities. They have engaged with the world on their doorsteps, and they haven't done anything massive, I guess. What is it, a massive small? I guess it's like along that lines maybe. But they haven't done anything crazy or big. They've just seen the social issues that are in their cities, and they've chosen to engage with those and to try and make a difference in the small ways that they can. So I guess all of us in this room are either living in a city right now or at some stage probably will live in the city. And I think the challenge to each one of us is how can we choose to engage with the world on our doorsteps. And the question of how do we go about this is, I think a good place to start is to ask ourselves, what are the issues that are facing those in our neighborhoods? And then from there, I hope that it will look very different for every single one of us. And as I said at the start, I'm not an expert or an inspiration, so I'll leave it up to you guys how you proceed from there on out. Thank you very much for your time.